Hiya guys, and welcome back to Aid's Workshop. So been a couple of weeks. I've lost a bit of footage on this Mamod engine, but I can show you where I'm up to, and I can show you a few bits and bobs that have come in. So first of all, bought online a replacement hood for it. Didn't cost me a lot of money, I think. Well, it wasn't £20 anyway, but yeah, it needs obviously refurbing as well, but that's all in hand. I can see online various firms, eBay, doing rivet kits, little rivet kits for the specific rivets for the Mamod engine, 3/32 and 1/8 pop rivets. I didn't have any Imperial, but I managed to basically buy a set of 2.4 and 3.2, which pretty much cover it. So it was cheaper to buy a great big box. They're all metric rivets, but they're in the equivalents that would be Imperial. So yeah, 150 various assorted ones, different lengths. So that was for the same price as I would have paid for half a dozen rivets, a little packet of them specific to the model. I managed to get a big selection box full, so we've got those going forward as well. What else? Yes, I'm going to replace the axle, the rear axle first of all, and it's quarter diameter, and I thought, well, I'm going to make some new axles out of silver steel. So yeah, I went on my favourite supplier for silver steel, which is Zorro, and I bought 4 13-inch lengths of quarter silver steel. I'm only going to need, you know, half a length at the very most, but I bought 4 lengths, about a tenner again delivered. So yeah, it's good stock to have a silver steel for various bits. I like working with stainless steel. It's better quality than mild steel and all that, and it's got the added option that it's very easy to harden as well. So and it's quite a tough stuff and not too bad to machine. So that's what's come in there. I have ordered a set of tyres for the engine to go on the wheels, the rubber tyres. I do remember from being a youngster and having a Mamod steamroller I had at the time, that, you know, you put it on a hard surface and it would rattle and bounce around on every little pebble and what have you. So I think the rubber tyres are going to improve that somewhat. So I'll show you where I am with it. I've got some clips from last week, and then I'll forward on with some clips from this week. Oh, and I want to show, one of my subscribers has shouted out to me, Simon, so this is for you, how to remove the Morse taper sleeve tooling from the mill. So the drawbar isn't particularly obvious at first look, but I'll show how I do it, and the little captive drawbar and all that sort of thing. So that'll be coming on in the video as well. So enjoy, guys. So some progress has been made. Cleaned all the paint off the scuttle, all the paint off the boiler, and given it a bit of a polish. I'm not going to go mad with that. Front end is off the boiler now. That's all cleaned up, all the paint removed, and smoke boxes there with all the paint removed as well. So a little bit of rust treatment on these, let it soak, wash them off, and then they're going to want a coat of paint. So let me show you what paint I got. So Rust-Oleum stove and barbecue paint, black matte, heat resistance, like VHT paint, very high temperature paint, that sort of stuff, from a local hardware shop. So the scuttle and the firebox will be done with that. I have got the new cover for the firebox. I'll dig that out. Front end, where are we? I have got it. Oh, just a tin of black enamel paint, Rust-Oleum again. Black gloss, so that'll be used on the front end, and then the detail cleaned up to bring the Mamod out. So yeah, I'm going to leave it's going to be black and brass, the engine. Going to leave the boiler brass, everything else black. I'm going to do a bit of a, you'll see it when it's done, but black and brass is the look I'm going for. So there's the replacement plated part. Yeah, I mean, it was stinking. I mean, it's slightly different, but it'll do the job. So it's like a multi-purpose one, but it'll work perfectly well for this. So that's that part. Yeah, so that'll get assembled to that with the rivets, and we'll be away. So yeah, it's back together. I've resprayed the cowling, cleaned the boiler. Obviously it's been sat around in here for a week. It needs another polish again. Repainted the front with the correct aluminium part here, pop riveted the front back on, sprayed the flywheel, fitted the new plated part, so it's not the rusty old one, which was never going to clean up properly. Slightly different shape, but not to worry, I can make it work, especially if this is any wider because of the embosses here. I'm making a new axle anyway, so I can fix that up. So yeah, I mean, it's coming along. Next job, I suppose, is going to be to make this axle. But yeah, I think I'll show you this drawbar before we move to the lathe. Try and show this step by step. So first of all, I've got my spanner here, and I can actually hold the spindle solid with the spanner on the bottom of the quill here. So yeah, I'm going to be using that spanner there, and then I'll take you up to the top and show you the way that the nut or the drawbar is captivated up the top. I might have to do a bit of jiggery pokery with my tripod here to get up that high. Okay, so I've got a 10mm spanner. You'll see this outer large part here. I can just unscrew it. I only ever keep it nipped down. So this is a captive drawbar captivator. So the drawbar just drops in the top, and it's got a shoulder on, as you can see, but it fits inside this cap which holds the drawbar down. So I'll just screw that back on, and you'll see there's a 10mm square on the top of the drawbar. So if I go back to the bottom, I'll leave the camera where it is, and I'm holding the shaft now. So if I undo the square, okay, it's loose. Now I can unscrew it, and now it's unscrewed out of the MT3 taper that's in the quill, and it's fixed there because it can't come out anymore because of the captive nut. So if I hold it and unscrew it, you'll hear it pop. There it goes. That was actually been in there for quite some time, so it was a bit tight, but you hear it pop. So if I hold my tool now, you can see I can just unscrew the drawbar. So I'll unscrew that, take it to the bottom, and I can take it out. So I'm keeping the tool still, not rotating the tool, undoing the drawbar, and you can see it's coming down out. And there we are, that's it, out. So tend to give it a good clean. I'm going to pop it back in again. Just make sure there's no dirt in there. Okay, it's nice and clean. So back in with the tool. Screw the 10mm square back in till we get to the top. Holding the tool, just give it a little nip. That's enough to stop that rotating. I can take the spanner again, hold my quill, and just nip the drawbar up, and that's it back in again. So yeah, I mean, it's fairly straightforward. I have got an M10 threaded drawbar for this mill and an M12. Most of my gear is M12. Somewhere around here, oh, it's in one of my toolboxes, I've got the M10 threaded drawbar as well, because you can get MT3 in this mill, but you can get MT3 Morse tapers that have got an M10 thread in the back, and again some of the others have an M12. I tend to try and stick to M12, and that saves me having to change the drawbar. So there's the original axle. Obviously it's got signs of where the heat's been coming on it, because the fire goes underneath the axle. Now it's got some nasty grooves and graunches in the end. It looked like it was cut off with a shears rather than machine when it was new, so it wasn't accurately made lengthwise, unless somebody's replaced this. And it had these little push-on, they are barbed so they don't come off, but the original type little retainers on the end. Now I can buy these. I can buy a newer version of these, and a very new version with a like a star washer inside, and you can actually get domed ones as well. But I don't want to go down that route. I think I'm going to make some brass nuts to go on the end. So if you can imagine, axle back there somewhere with the wheel on, if I was to put an M3 thread on the end of here, perhaps a little stub thread, make the axle with one on either end, and then make some little brass nuts with an M3 hole up inside, and then perhaps machine a hexagon on, maybe a 6mm hexagon on the end of it, so that they'll go on. I think that'll look nice with the brass nuts, flange nuts, sort of almost replicating this shape. Maybe it'll be a thicker, whoops, be a thicker flange than this at the moment, which is probably about 0.6mm. Maybe I'll make it 1 or 2mm. but make some flange nuts to go on here that screw on the axle. I can put a bit of Loctite on them perhaps if it's needed, but I can tighten them up with a spanner, and they are what will hold the wheel on. I think it'll look nicer than this original setup, but of course the way these were made originally, the design was to make it cheap, quick to assemble, you know, make it an affordable toy. So yeah, I'm just revamping it my way. So I've just cut a piece of silver steel, same length as the original. It's actually going to be shorter because I'm having a thread on it, and as you can imagine it's going to be back here somewhere, but yeah, that's how it's going to start. So I think machine one end. You know what I might do is drill and tap a hole in it and put a sort of grub screw into it, so I've got no shoulder in the end. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I've got M3 grub screws. I'll face the end and drill and tap for an M3 grub screw, and then I'll probably make the two nuts. Yeah, that sounds like the way. Fit one end, pass it through in position, and then gauge whatever length I need to make or to reduce it by, which I can do basically with a rule. It doesn't need to be tight in the boiler. If it had 1/2 to 1 mil of play, I think I'd be more than happy with it. Might even put between the wheel and the body a fibre washer in there. If I've got something, I've got some fibre washers. Might be worth doing that as well. So I'm not feeling particularly brave today, and it's a blind hole with an M3. So I started tapping it in the lace, just a few turns just to get the tap square, and that's bottoming out there. Okay, so I'll just change over to a bottoming tap from the taper tap, and then we'll screw a grub screw in there. I've got some about 10 mil long, and I've drilled that about 6 mil deep, but that'll be fine. It'll probably stick out about 5. So yeah, put the bottoming tap in, and then we'll fit a grub screw. I thought I had some longer grub screws, but I didn't. But I did have some, like, I think they were a 15 mil long countersunk Allen bolts M3. So put a bit of Loctite on, screwed it in till it bottomed out, sawed it off about 4.5 mil, and then I've just faced the end to 4 mil, put a 45 on. It's quite small on an M3 thread, but that's the one end done, and it'll be exactly the same on the other end, but to a set length when I know the axle length. So I got a piece of brass bar up, as you can see. It's 15.7 mil, and the original caps, they're large ones and small ones, but the originals, where are we? Try and see if I can show it. Coming in at around, I'm going to call it 14 mil because I got a collet for that when I come to put the hexagon on. So 2.9 diameter to 14 mil. So just face it off. A bit more. There's going to be a blind hole in these. So let's just take a cut off here. I think what I'll do is make one piece with a nut on both ends. We'll part them off when I put the hexagons on. Then I'll hold it by the hexagon in the 3-jaw and put the tapped hole in afterwards. So let's just, that'll be more than enough to get 2 off. And let's have a bit of auto feed. There we go. Turn my motor on the lead screw. A little bit faster than that, eh? So I'm looking for a nominal 14. Scratch under won't hurt for the collet. Don't want to be a bit over. Okay, just a little polish on there. Let's turn that feed off. Fire her up. Worn out with a memory cloth. Okay. That should be a lot better. It's not springing it. Okay, so that's major diameter. Now I want 7mm. I'm just going to set my DRO to 0. I want a 7mm diameter, 5mm back. I actually drew this up in CAD to get my sizes and what I thought it looked like. So what did I say, 5mm back here? You know what? I didn't set a 0 on the end. How are you going to know where 5mm back is if you don't set a 0 on the end, eh? I've taken 3mm off there, the side, going down from that 14, just sanity check, that should be around 8mm. 7.67. I think that should be 7mm. Back in the same depth, back out again. Okay. Why didn't you get the mic out to start with, and then you wouldn't have had all this? 7.08. That's absolutely fine. I'm going to be putting a 6mm hexagon on here, or a 6mm AF hexagon. Should clean up within the 7, but yeah, I'm sure it will. When I did it in CAD, it was sort of 0.1ish. And what I should have done is worked it out with trig rather than use the CAD. So, I am going to put, no, I'm not going to put a chamfer on it on the top. Well, maybe a little one. Ooh. Just a break edge. I'm going to put a substantial one on here. Okay, maybe a little bit more. That'll do. Yeah, nice chamfer on there. I think in CAD I drew a rad on there, but chamfer, what? Fine. So I think now, part this off. Am I going to part them off 2 at a time? Now I want something to hold on to put the hexagons on. So I'm going to part this off, spin it round and put the same 7mm diameter on the other end. So let's just chop this off. Something like, yeah, that'll be more than enough to hold on, I'm sure. What are we doing? 900 RPM. I'll speed it up when I get a bit further in. Set it up. A bit more. There we go. Right, we'll have that bit of bar out of here now. Spin this round and do exactly the same on the other end, and that's my sort of rough blank for putting the hexagons on. There we are, that's a piece on both ends, and I can split that in half afterwards, parting tool. So yeah, I mean that's 7mm both sides, step back 5 with a 14 OD. Overall length doesn't matter at this point, it's going to be chopped in half and faced off. Okay, so that's 2 flats, that's the nominal theoretical. Okay, that'll do nicely. Theoretical depth. So back against the stop on the hex block. Tighten the vise. Full cut, 1 hit. 4mm from the face. So I've got 4mm wide flats for a spanner. Probably doesn't need to be that long, but okay. And you've all seen me do hexagons before. Just keep indexing round 1 turn, back in with a hex block, nip the vise. Keep going until you got them all. So there should be 1 more. That's the one. In fact, I think it's 2 more, isn't it? I did the original 2. I've just done 2 more. So yes, this one and round 1 more. Okay. And round 1 more. Okay, so flip that round in the collar block, put a hexagon on the other side, back in the lathe, hold by the hexagon, part it, face, the one that's still in the chuck, to size, drill and tap an M3 hole inside. Yeah, not a great deal to see. I'm running out of time today. I need to go and cook something to eat. So probably next week I'll show you the end result. So keep you waiting. But yeah, you can see the principle, and that's the interesting bit anyway. I will probably put a radius on top of here when I'm done, screw it onto an M3 thread in the, maybe hold it on the axle even, screw it onto the axle, hold the axle in the lathe and just put a radius on the top of the threads to make it look nice, like a proper nut. But yeah, that's the general idea. There we are, let's give you a slightly different view on the outshot for a change. That's as far as I've got, guys. I'm not spending a great deal of time in the shed. The weather here in Pembrokeshire has been appalling during July. I think tomorrow's the 31st or 30th. Last day is tomorrow anyway, Sunday today. Yeah, we had a lovely June. July's been awful. Hopefully we'll have a nice August. But I've just been hibernating. But no good me complaining about the wet we've had here when there's places in Europe that have had it ridiculously hot and wildfires. My sister actually lives in Rhodes, on the island of Rhodes in the Greek islands there, and thankfully she's a long way, 20 odd miles from where any of the fires have been, so she hasn't been affected too badly other than by the extreme heat that they've been having. So anyway, that's a completely other story. As usual, guys, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing. We'll see you all very soon. Cheers now.